Hey, fabulous souls, welcome to my Unwavering Thoughts. Here, we're all about growing, thriving, becoming our best selves inside and out. It is also about leveling up, whether it's how we treat ourselves, others, and just life in general. So, join me on this podcast as I share my thoughts on personal growth, self love, seeing yourself the way God sees you, my rookie tips on life, relationships, and of course, love. Let's grow together. Hi, fabulous souls. My name is Amanda Mati, and this is my Unwavering Thoughts. If this is the first time you're hearing this lovely voice, ensure it is not your last. Make sure you follow or subscribe. Ensure that you're connected to this podcast because it is the real deal. And if it is not your first time hearing this lovely voice, thank you for being here, the real MVP. As you already know, for those who are joining us, and just a reminder for those who have been listening to me, I usually post my podcast every Saturday evening by 6 p.m. So stay tuned and I look forward to you hearing my voice and you giving me feedback as regarding what you would love to listen to next. Besides that, you're welcome to Unwavering Thoughts podcast. I'm your host. Like you already know, my name is Amanda Mati. And today we're diving into a topic that I think we all struggle with at some point. The art of letting go. That is the topic for today. The art of letting go. Whether it's people, outcomes, or even expectations we have for ourselves, letting go is one of the hardest things to do, but it can also be the most freeing thing. You know, the idea of letting go sounds so simple in theory, very, very simple. Just release what you can't control, right? But in practice, it's anything but easy. We hold on to things sometimes for years because we think that they define us or because we've invested so much time and energy into them. So how do we begin the process of letting go? And most importantly, why is it so necessary for our growth and peace of mind? I cannot overemphasize how the art of letting go, how freeing it can be, how liberating it is. But that's what we're going to be discussing today. The challenges, yes, but also the beauty of releasing what no longer serves us, right? So let's start with why letting go is so hard. First, I think at the core of it, letting go challenges our need for control. You know, we like to think we have a handle on everything, that if we just try hard enough or hold on long enough, things will go the way we want them to go. But here's the truth, and the truth, brutal truth. Control is an illusion. The earlier you know that, the better for you. We cannot control people. We cannot control outcomes. And most of the time, we cannot even control the way things unfold. Do you get that? Do I need to say we cannot control people? We can't control outcomes. We cannot control the way things unfold. And that realization, it can be very terrifying. I know we fear that what might happen if we let go because we don't know what most likely will come next. But what if it doesn't turn out the way we hope? What if we lose something or someone forever? So we hold on to it, we cling to it. We hold on to relationships that no longer serve us, jobs that drain us, and expectations that weigh us down. But in holding on so tightly, we miss out on the flow of life. We miss out on new possibilities, new growth, and new experiences that could bring out the best in us, bring us more joy, more peace, and more alignment with who we truly are. So what does it actually mean to let go? It's not about giving up or failing. It's not about becoming detached or indifferent. Letting go is about acceptance. It's about accepting that there are things outside of our control, and that is okay. It's about choosing to release the grip we have on certain outcomes, and trusting that life has its own way of unfolding things, even if it doesn't match the script that we've written in our heads for ourselves. One of the things that has really, really helped me understanding this is the idea that life is very dynamic, and the earlier we know that, the better for us. It is constantly shifting, constantly evolving. So we are always in motion, and we are the people that and things around us. We are those people and the things around us. Trying to hold on tightly to something that isn't meant to move or change is like trying to catch sand in your hands. And you know how that is. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. You know, like when you hold loose sand, like let's say you go to the beach, you just hold loose sand. It continues to slip away. You can't, the harder you squeeze, the faster it goes away from your hand. If you know logically what, if you know what I'm actually talking about, I'm sure you do. But when we let go, when we open our hands and allow things to come and go as they naturally do, that's when we experience true, complete freedom. We allow ourselves to, we allow life to flow through us instead of trying to control every detail. So, of course, one of the most challenging things to let go of is people. I know. It was hard for me to let go of certain people in my life, but for peace of mind, for sanity, I had to. So maybe someone you love deeply, someone you thought would always be a part of your life. But sometimes people grow in different directions. Relationships change, friendships fade, and no matter how much we want to hold on, we can't force someone to stay in our lives, and that is the truth. And that can be one of the hardest lessons of all. But letting go of someone doesn't mean you never loved them or that the connection wasn't real. It simply means you're honoring where you both are right now. You're accepting that not all relationships are meant to last forever, and that is completely okay. In fact, there is beauty in that, if you ask me. The people who come into our lives, even for a very short time, often bring valuable lessons and experiences. They help us. They help us. They shaping us. They help us grow technically. And when it's time to let them go, we can do so with gratitude for what they brought into our lives, without holding on to resentment, or anger or regret. Then there are outcomes. How many of us have a vision of how things are supposed to go? We set a goal, we work hard towards it, and we expect a certain result. But when that thing or that result doesn't come, or when life throws us some curveballs, we can feel frustrated, disappointed, livid, angry, very defeated, downcast, name it all. But here's the thing, life rarely follows the exact path we map out in our heads. And that's not a bad thing. I'm even learning to accept that too in my life. Sometimes the path that deviates from our plan is the one that leads to the greatest growth. So the path that takes us away from our particular plan is the one that leads us to biggest growth of all, the most unexpected blessings. Letting go of specific outcomes allows us to, stay open to the possibilities that life might offer something even better than we ever imagined. I think about the outcomes or the times when I was so focused on making something happen a certain way that I couldn't see the opportunities that were right in front of me. It was only when I loosened my grip and let go of all of the expectations of the need for things to go my way that I started to see the beauty of unfolding. The beauty of unfolding sounds like something poetic. Okay, so, and finally, we have expectations. This one, it kind of hits on a different angle because half of us have expectations. Sometimes we even try to tell ourselves that we do not have expectations, but sis, you probably do. Bro, you probably do if you have expectations. I used to tell myself that, I don't expect anything from anyone. It's a lie. I expect. Even subconsciously, I just expect certain reactions and behaviors and things the way life should be. And when things don't happen that way, I lose my cool. So this one hits very close to home because, if I'm being honest, I've often placed heavy expectations on myself, particularly how I'm supposed to perform, what I'm supposed to be, what my life is supposed to look like. We all have, that internal dialogue in our minds, this idea of who we think we should be. But when those expectations become unrealistic or too rigid, they can become very suffocating and stifling. They can make us feel like we are never enough, like we are constantly failing or, and falling short. And that's not a recipe for growth. That's a recipe for burnout and self-doubt. Um, so letting go of unrealistic expectations isn't about lowering your standards, just so you know, or settling for less. Let's clear that out. It's about being compassionate with yourself. It's about recognizing that growth is a process. That process isn't always linear, and that is okay to give yourself space to just be, to just be. Do you know what the essence of just being is? To allow room for imperfection, for mistakes, for learning. So, how do we actually practice the art of letting go? Good question, right? I've been thinking about this for a while I was coming up with this topic. It starts with awareness. It takes a moment to notice that, notice what we are holding on to. Is it a relationship? Is it a specific outcome? An expectation of yourself or someone else? Once you've identified it, ask yourself, why am I holding on to this? Is it fear? Is it control? A need for validation? And oftentimes, just bringing awareness to the reasons behind our attachment to these things can help us begin the process of letting go. I, for one, I had an expectation of myself that I would be in a certain level at this time of my life, especially in career-wise, as regarding marriage. So many things. Have a certain amount of money, even have kids. But how old am I? I'm in my 20s, late 20s to be precise. And I do not have all of these things figured out. Neither do I even have them happening in hindsight. So I had to now have to force myself to practice acceptance of where I am currently. Doesn't mean that, like I said, doesn't mean that I'm settling for less. Probably just means I have to push myself a little further, but also allowing things happen as it should happen, as should take place, and also trusting God. That's just the thing. Let go of the need for things. So I had to practice acceptance, like I said earlier. I had to let go of the need for things to be different than they are. That doesn't mean that you stop striving for what you want, but it does mean releasing the need to control every step of the process. Trust that things will unfold as they are meant to, and be open to what comes, right? It doesn't mean that you're living freely or you're allowing the wind to toss you around. No, I used to think that way before, but now I'm like, as it pleases the Lord, because as far as I'm concerned, what God says is what's more important to me than any, because He's the one that's charting the course of my life, but He's also giving me the wisdom on how to go about it. And finally, you should also learn to embrace gratitude. Let go with love and appreciation for what the situation, the person or experience has taught you. When we release from a place of gratitude, we make space for new growth, new possibilities, and new beginnings. Letting go isn't always easy. It is practice, practice, practice. One that we have to come back to again and again and again. But in that practice, there is freedom, there is peace, and there is beauty in allowing life flow rather than resisting it. This topic is very intense to me, or for me rather, because I am trying to even let go of a current situation that's happening to me currently. And it's going to take a bit of time, because it's something that really hurts me, I'm learning to let go. So I'm learning to take things one step at a time and allowing God do His work in my life. Then again, thank you for tuning in to today's episode of My Unwavering Thoughts. If this topic resonated with you, or if you're currently struggling with letting go of something in your life, I hope today's conversation gave you a little comfort, a little clarity, and a reminder that you're not alone on this journey. But then, until next time, remember to release what you can't control and embrace the beauty that comes with it. I am Oman Damati, and I will see you in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, make sure you follow Unwavering Thoughts podcast for more conversations on life, growth, and finding peace in the journey. Do take care of yourself. But then again, do not forget to follow me or subscribe to this podcast via Apple or Spotify. I usually upload my podcast every Saturday on every Saturday by 6 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I hope this impacts you, and don't forget to share to somebody. You never know who really needs to hear this. It's been an amazing journey today. Love you. Have a fantastic day or evening. Bye.